Hello and welcome to another Game Nexus arcade video. Today we're going to be taking a look at Tekken Tag Tournament, released in 1999 on the Namco System 12 board. And unlike my last video where I looked at this game, this one, as you can see, is actually going to be captured right from the capture card instead of my old filming it from the screen. And last time I actually made a video of this game, I actually did Yoshimitsu and Ling Xaioyu, but unfortunately, I didn't play as them the whole way through, and I figured I would just do that this time because they are my most commonly played team in Tekken Tag Tournament and Tekken Tag Tournament 2 Unlimited when I played the arcade versions of both of those games. Now, basically, to give anyone who doesn't know anything about this game, the general gist of what you have here is Tekken Tag Tournament is kind of like a dream match. So, like, characters who wouldn't be fighting in the Tekken anymore are in the game again, and characters who may have died are in the game as well. So that's why there's such a large roster of characters in this game. And of course, this arcade version on the Namco System 12 board came out on July 1st of 1999, with the eventual porting of this game to the PlayStation 2 in the year 2000, October 26th for North America, March 30th for Japan, and November 24th for Europe. Then, of course, they went one step further in 2011 with Tekken Tag Tournament HD, which was basically the PlayStation 2 version, but it was like upscaled to 720p, which, if you saw my video, which is actually on this channel, that game looks really good considering they just took a PlayStation 2 game and kind of upscaled it to 720p and basically just use the same graphics as the PS2 version, which kind of shows you how nice the PS2 version looked without really having to completely redesign the game. But of course, just like a lot of the games at the time, like Dead or Alive 2 did it, Tekken Tag Tournament, of course, its big draw is you can tag in and out at any time and have this two-player, two-character dynamic, which can be really effective. But unlike some of the games where if one character is knocked out, the game continues, this game, if anybody is knocked out, you're done, and you have to start all over again. Whereas even like the Capcom Versus games, if, let's say, Ryu was your character and he got knocked out, it would just throw your next character in. But here, if anybody gets KO'd, the game is over. And for anyone familiar with the PlayStation 2 version, Namco System 12, as you saw in my last bunch of Tekken 3 videos, it's basically like a souped-up PlayStation 1 console. So it has faster clock speeds, probably more memory, and everything just ends up being a bit smoother than an original PlayStation can deliver. But then when they took this game and they put it on the PlayStation 2, they redid all the character models, redid the backgrounds, and of course the major gripe a lot of people have who really liked Tekken Tag Tournament is they completely redid the soundtrack. In some places the redone soundtrack is actually pretty good, whereas some of the tracks just aren't nearly as nice as they are here in the arcade version. So just like Soul Calibur, Tekken 3, and Air Gates, this uses that same Namco System 12 board, which, as I said, is basically like that souped-up PlayStation. And as I said, the cool part about this game is you all have characters like Devil, and of course there is also Kazuya, there's Jin, there's Heihachi. There are all different characters that you can play, Mokujin, Tekujin, and even in the home versions and the Tekken Tag Tournament HD, you could play as Unknown, which is the ending boss. And the cool thing is Unknown actually made another appearance as the ending boss in Tekken Tag Tournament 2, which was really cool, that she didn't just have one showing as an ending boss. And now if you're familiar with Tekken 3, the graphics are going to look very similar because they basically just used the same engine, threw in the tag dynamic, and the rest is history. That's Tekken Tag. I would imagine they may have simplified the character models a little bit, because otherwise the game probably wouldn't be able to have two characters in memory. But I've never really done a comparison between Tekken 3 and Tekken Tag, since both games look really good. But I know a lot of people online are going to be like, oh my god, that game looks terrible. The PlayStation 2 version is the best version, but I'm kind of one of those purists, and I kind of like the arcade version of the game and how the original version of this game was supposed to play. So it's really fun to be able to plug in the arcade board, hook up your JBS I/O, and play some Tekken Tag in its original version. And as you can see, just like the PlayStation 2 version, some of the characters have their own intros. So if it's two characters who have something like story-wise in common, they will have like those little intros, which are actually pretty cool. And it's just cool to see like certain character combinations making it different when you start a round. And of course, whenever I say Kazuya in his suit, I always think of Tekken 2 and how he kept on beating me repeatedly over and over again, and I really had no chance until like more than an hour later I finally beat him. Just thought I'd be quiet for a little while there so you could hear some of this really cool arcade music. At some point I very well may hook up the board to the computer and capture all the arcade audio, because it's really nice.
You win. Tag battle. Fight.
And I know I had made mention of it in my last video, but in the arcade version, he'll say tag battle for round 3 instead of saying round 3. But in the arcade home version, he's tend to say tag battle a lot more than he normally would, so... well, that was a thing. And the funny thing is, just like my Tekken 3 videos, well, except for the True Ogre one, I'm pretty sure I was unable to even touch any of those fast times.
You win.
And as you could see there, Kazuya had like a lot of health, but since Jin got defeated, they lost.
Fight.
And what's cool is you'll sometimes see the AI do some really weird pairings, like Hwo Rong here with True Ogre. And the good thing is, unlike some games where you'd be facing a boss character, the AI for True Ogre here is not terribly over the top, so you can beat him. I can remember it was like when I played Tekken Tag Tournament 2, I was like, oh no, now I have to fight Jin Pachi. And, you know, the Jin Pachi AI wasn't like it was in Tekken 5, so that wasn't bad. And for some reason, when I'm actually looking at this stage, it's making me think of how they changed Jeffrey's stage in Virtua Fighter 3 Team Battle. They basically just took his island stage and made it dark like this. And even though the graphics are probably not as nice, or maybe they figured some way to squeeze a bit more out of the PlayStation, True Ogre still looks really good in this game. Whereas if you remember right, in my last Tekken 3 video, if you played as True Ogre, you lost absolutely all the background detail. So, it's kind of cool that they were able to keep it pretty nice looking.
Round 1, fight.
And now, except in certain circumstances, which you will see in my next video, Heihachi and Brian Fury are always the, basically the quote-unquote sub-boss fight before you face Unknown and her, Wolf. But there are a couple occasions, if you choose a certain character, that you will not face against Heihachi and, Brian Fury. And I can remember when I would play the, PlayStation 2 version, I always had trouble, defeating them. But as time has gotten on, I've gotten a little better. And, in this gameplay, as opposed to sometimes when I'd be playing this game, I didn't lose nearly as many times as I normally would.
Tag battle. Fight.
And now the reason why he goes tag battle is this is pretty much a do or die battle. You don't get 2 rounds with Unknown. You just have to defeat her in 1. So if you take out her life really quick, then you won. But if she beats you, then of course you really quickly lose. The big musical difference I could always remember is this is mostly an instrumental track in the arcade version, whereas in the console version, there's some chanting in it, and it's a different track entirely. And I'm sure if you look at my Tekken Tag Tournament HD video, you'll see exactly what I mean, because that's basically the PS2 version, but it has been upscaled to 720p. And of course, just like usual, it's going to show how I defeated all the characters here. And if you use Yoshimitsu Sword Slash a lot, it makes you look like you're extremely like cheap when it comes to the moves, but unfortunately, it's just very easy in most Tekken games to end a match with a sword slash, because it takes out so much health. So if the enemy is like, I would say half or less, what happens is they always get defeated by the sword slash. And yeah, I'm kind of just showing that example that a lot of my wins here were all sword slash. Well, except for that one, which was some Yoshimitsu knee action. But basically, Tekken Tag Tournament, it's an excellent game. If you could play it in the arcade, I would highly recommend it. If not, then you might want to try the PlayStation 2 version, or, of course, the PlayStation 3 version, which is part of Tekken Hybrid. So, if you buy Tekken Hybrid, you get Tekken Tag Tournament HD and Tekken Tag Tournament 2 Prologue. Well, this has been another Game Nexus Arcade video, and I shall see you later. Bye.